Hey, what's up, everyone? It's RanDoM, aka Mark RanDoM, rapper, stand-up comedian. I wanted to create this to kind of give my message to the world and everything I've learned in my life. War is obviously bad, and that makes us question the value of life. But people who say love and peace is what could solve it based on hate, but they're not truly understanding the problem. Where is that hate coming from? Where is war coming from? Well, we can say evil people who just want to do that, but what creates that? To create that is not knowing the meaning of life, not knowing what happens when we die, not knowing what consciousness is or if there's some definitive purpose, not knowing objective truth, but everything is just perception. That creates fear of the unknown, and then we have desire to know or fear to self-preservate. So what happens is we develop desires, which develops hate when we interact with other people's, and then that hate escalates to millions of people and war. So for all these people like Elon Musk, for Lex Friedman, for Joe Rogan, and anyone else in that stratosphere, Candace Owens, the president, United Nations, I would love to give this speech to the whole world of, we can't let love, peace, and joy resolve all of humanity until we figure out the deal of what happens when we die. Do we control this life? What is existence? And no one recognizes that. No one points that out as the issue. And I feel like if we thought about it more, we could all, because it's something we all collectively deal with. We're all afraid to die. We all don't know what happens in this life. We don't know the meaning, and we desire to do something or express something, and then that creates hate because we're trying to move through it. And then it makes me go to a more nihilistic, misanthropic thing of ego of me wants to preach all this to the world because it's selfish, but it's my empathy. Seeing everything in humanity, every bad thing, makes me empathetically heartbroken. So it's like, I want to be the savior. I want to be the Messiah. I want to rise up and speak to the world. So because human suffering breaks my heart, but also it probably doesn't break people on other existences on other planets. It's only something specifically to the human condition. So my message is like my ego, but that's my spirit intent. And then unfortunately, when you get into spirits, you think of like life beyond itself. Like, what if we're in the third dimension, there's a fourth and fifth dimension that make the value of life seem like a dream or like a distant memory. So now we have these collective ideas that I believe is kind of responsible for the answer. And the sad thing might be, for instance, people who manipulate human extermination or war on extermination. We all think that's bad because we all think life has value. But what if that's what we're supposed to do? We are like almost kindness, and I don't believe this, nor do I want this to be the truth, but what if like kindness, compassion, love was a biological accident and we were here to destroy each other, exterminate each other in war, and we used to only have those emotions, but then all the other things kind of took us sideways. And the reason I feel that is because like, what is what we objectively do? We're on this planet, we sleep, we eat, we procreate, and we try to survive, but we die. So maybe we're all here just to die, because what is death but just letting go? You're letting go of your reality, of your ego, of your human self, of every attribute you've said about yourself, of every kind of cause or ideology you believed, or every kind of, I'm going to save the world. Like, think about that. I'm saying I want to save the world. Let's say I get that catastrophic opportunity and everyone in the world listens to me. Thousands of years from now, it might not mean anything. Hundreds of thousands of years from now probably means nothing. On other planets, it wouldn't mean anything. In this universe, in this solar system, if you zoom out, it looks like an atom and a cell. So for all of eternity, it kind of feels like it means nothing. But I know for myself, in this moment, it means something to transform that. And I feel like all of existence, we know it's based on wavelengths, frequencies, and sounds. Not sounds, but frequencies and vibrations, and that's what life is. And we all exist on billions of different, trillions of different frequencies, energy, wavelength, vibrations. So it's figuring out this, and I could base it down to just positive and negative, and then there's more than positive and negative, but it's like we exist in fear and love and hate and peace and pain and joy. And I feel like we are all collectively connected. So, for instance, if you have millions of people afraid, you will conjure something that is fearful. Or if you have millions of people that hate, you will degenerate a society. And I feel like that's what heaven and hell is. Hell is if every single human on the planet thought about fear and hate and their suffering and just negative, it would be a nightmare hell of war, starvation, poverty. But if everyone collectively, with their minds and their words and their actions and their thoughts, which they have proven creates biological cells, your thoughts and your emotions are atoms you put out into the existence and interacts with other energy. So if we could somehow transform this alchemy of all of our fear, pain, and hate into love, joy, and peace, if most of the world did that, and then more than most of the world, we would slowly, collectively evolve our energy, frequency, wavelength vibrations to a higher plane of existence, and maybe we could understand more the meaning of life or what happens when we die. And maybe that's the good and evil forces. There's like 6th-dimension people playing like a chess game in 3rd dimensions of like, let's see if we can manipulate them to fear and destruction, and then the others like, let's see if we can open ourselves to the 5th dimension and know eternity and become one with God while we're in this existence. Like, it doesn't have to be a life or death thing, like we're alive in consciousness or we die and other consciousness. It can be both at the same time, existing in eternity. And I'm just trying to create a positive experience for humanity of taking all their collective negative energy and transforming it and realizing like that whole, it's negative, realizing that whole negative and positive need to be there to balance each other out. But what if you could have a negative atom that had a positive and negative, and then that positive and negative would have a positive, negative, negative, and a positive, and then that negative would have a positive, negative, negative, positive, and then that keeps multiplying as it divides, and then the positive you have goes from positive, and that positive has positives and negatives, and that positives and negatives, they both have positive, negative, negative, positive, and then this one is negative, positive, positive, negative, and then that keeps multiplying downwards and dividing where it's positive, negative, negative, positive, and then a positive, negative, negative, positive, and then it's a positive, negative, negative, positive, slash positive, negative, negative, positive, and it just keeps going like that in infinity. So the reason I don't do podcasts, and I'm calling this a Noncast